Syria is at a turning point. The fall of Bashar al-Assad this past December, following 4 decades of authoritarian rule, has created conditions for unprecedented change for Syria and for the Middle East. This change comes with significant risk. The Syrian war, dating back to 2011, has left most of the country in ruins, destroyed by years of indiscriminate bombing by Assad and his Russian and Iranian backers. The costs of reconstructing this broken country will be in the tens of billions, even by the most modest assessment, and investors face significant hurdles as they work to navigate the complex sanctions regime that has emerged after 4 decades of Assad family rule. While there are rightfully many who seek to break down barriers, advocating for sanctions relief to ensure reconstruction can take place and put Syria on a path of success, we must not lose sight of core U.S. interests in this rush to embrace Syria's new regime. There remains significant questions about Syria's new interim authorities, led by U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, a former al-Qaeda affiliate, Ahmed al-Sharaa. Despite his hardened past, the interim president continues to verbally signal a commitment to reform through his ability to deliver remains to be seen, which is why we must be explicit with our goals for Syria. This includes the counter-ISIS mission, which has been a central part of U.S. foreign policy since 2014. We must set clear expectations for the interim authorities on what we expect from them with respect to counterterrorism cooperation, to prevent a resurgence and assume responsibility for detention centers holding thousands of ISIS members and affiliated individuals in the Northeast. And concerns about extremism are not by any means limited to ISIS. Iran and its proxies have long used the country as a sanctuary space to plan and carry out attacks, including against Israel. While Russia sees Syria as a strategic launchpad to undermine our interests not just in the Middle East, but much further afield from Africa to Europe. There must be clear red lines when it comes to Iran and its proxies, as well as Russia's ability to operate in Syria. Preventing Syria from being used as a sanctuary space is vital not just for the U.S., but also for Syria. This will no doubt be one of the metrics used as the international community measures the success of Syria's transition and, by extension, for the prospects for further economic relief. For Syria to succeed and reestablish itself on the international world stage, it must take action to prevent extremism from thriving once again, including by signaling a commitment to inclusive governance by establishing a positive working relationship with our Kurdish partners, the Syrian Democratic Forces. They have been at the forefront of the campaign to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. On that basis, the Trump administration has rightfully taken steps to waive U.S. sanctions on a limited and temporary basis, giving al-Sharaa sufficient time to demonstrate he is able to turn his words into actions. But this is not, I have to stress, a full embrace of al-Sharaa or those he continues to surround himself with. We must use this opportunity to press him on key U.S. priorities, notably as relates to counterterrorism, while also retaining limitations on U.S. sanctions relief to ensure Iran and Russia cannot benefit financially. Al-Sharaa has expressed a concerning willingness to embrace Moscow despite Putin's complicity in war crimes against the Syrian people. For Russia, their presence in Syria is not just about the Middle East. It's a vital staging ground essential to everything they do in Africa and Eastern Mediterranean. We underestimate the strategic importance Syria holds for the Russians at our own peril. Make no mistake, what happens in Syria does not stay in Syria. The country has consistently demonstrated its ability to impact and shape affairs far outside its borders, from Europe's migrant crisis to ISIS to the war in Ukraine. When Secretary Rubio testified before Congress last month, he said, quote, "There is no guarantee that by outreach and working with the transitional authority in Syria, things are going to work out. It may work out. It may not work out. But if we don't reach out and try, it's a guarantee not to work out. And I echo the Secretary's sentiments and just came back, along with the ranking member, from a trip to the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Jordan. And that was the sentiment shared there as well. We want to give this an opportunity to work, but are fully cognizant of the consequences of failure here. During this hearing, we will further examine Syrian stability and the vital role Syria and the Syrian people play in the Middle East. I now yield to the ranking member, Sheila Sherfa.